To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. For what is the worth of human life, unless it is woven into the life of our ancestors by the records of history? A room without books is like a body without a soul. Times are bad. Children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. Not to know what has been transacted in former times is to be always a child. If no use is made of the labors of past ages, the world must remain always in the infancy of knowledge. For there is but one essential justice which cements society, and one law which establishes this justice. This law is right reason, which is the true rule of all commandments and prohibitions. Whoever neglects this law, whether written or unwritten, is necessarily unjust and wicked. 6 mistakes mankind keeps making century after century, believing that personal gain is made by crushing others, worrying about things that cannot be changed or corrected, insisting that a thing is impossible because we cannot accomplish it, refusing to set aside trivial preferences, neglecting the EV. Read at every weight, read at all hours, read within leisure, read in times of labor, read as one goes in, read as one goeth out. The task of the educated mind is simply put, read to lead, non nobis solemnati sumus. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by doubling our joys and dividing our grief in times of war. The law falls silent. It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief, as though sorrow would be made less by buoyancy criticized by creation, not by finding fault. Life is nothing without friendship. What is morally wrong can never be advantageous, even when it enables you to make some gain that you believe to be to your advantage. The mere act of believing that some wrongful course of action constitutes an advantage is pernicious. We must not say every mistake is a foolish one. The life of the dead is placed on the memories of the living. The love you gave in life keeps people alive beyond their time. Anyone who is given love will always live on in another's heart. To study philosophy is nothing but to prepare oneself to die. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. As shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. The face is a picture of the mind with the eyes as its interpreter. For books are more than books. They are the life, the very heart and core of ages past, the reason why men worked and died, the essence and quintessence of their lives. Politicians are not born, they are excreted, dum spiro. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. While there's life, there's hope. The life given us by nature is short, but the memory of a well-spent life is eternal. The greatest pleasures are only narrowly separated from disgust. The wise are instructed by reason, average minds by experience, the stupid by necessity, and the brute by instinct. Silence is one of the great arts of conversation. When you have no basis for an argument, abuse the plaintiff. The harvest of old age is the recollection and abundance of blessing previously secured. Love is the attempt to form a friendship inspired by beauty. Your life is to think. Nothing is more noble, nothing more venerable than fidelity. Faithfulness and truth are the most sacred excellences and endowments of the human mind. What, it is the peculiar quality of a fool to perceive the faults of others, and to forget his own. To live is to think. The sinews of war are infinite money. The safety of the people shall be the highest law. Any man can make mistakes, But only an idiot persists in his error. What then is freedom? The power to live as one wishes, more law, less justice. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. Brevity is a great charm of eloquence. An unjust peace is better than a just war. The enemy is within the gates. It is with our own luxury, our own folly, our own criminality that we have to contend. The higher we are placed, the more humbly we should walk. I prefer tongue-tied knowledge to ignorant loquacity. A friend is, as it were, a second self. Rashness belongs to youth, prudence to old age. Cultivation to the mind is as necessary as food to the body. I am not ashamed to confess that I am ignorant of what I do not know. Old age, the crown of life, our play's last act. As I approve of a youth that has something of the old man in him, so I am no less pleased with an old man that has something of the youth. He that follows this rule may be old in body, but can never be so in mind. The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. Thrift is of great revenue. Cultivation to the mind is as necessary as food to the body. Honor is the reward of virtue. The countenance is the portrait of the soul, and the eyes mark its intentions. Peace is liberty in tranquillity. Marcus Tullius Cicero is the nature of every person to error, but only the fool perseveres in error if we are not ashamed to think it. We should not be ashamed to say it. No one can give you better advice than yourself. The good of the people is the greatest law. Natural ability without education has more often attained to glory and virtue than education without natural ability. A room without books is like a body without a soul. True nobility is exempt from fear. While there's life, there's hope. Confidence is that feeling by which the mind embarks in great and honorable courses with a sure hope and trust in itself. The pursuit, even of the best things, ought to be calm and tranquil. Whatever you do, do with all your might. A man of courage is also full of faith. It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief, as though sorrow would be made less by baldness. To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. Any man is liable to err. Only a fool persists in error. Nobody can give you wiser advice than yourself. Memory is the treasury and guardian of all things. Never go to excess, but let moderation be your guide. The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil. There is nothing so absurd that some philosopher has not already said it.